How's it going, everybody? My name is Ryan45678, and in this video I'm going to be going over my Bowman Arms M16A1 kit. Now these were pretty recent as of the recording of this video. I thought about it for a few days and I was like, you know what? These are cool. It's an original M16 kit and parts, so it's not like you're just building something that looks like an M16. It's actual M16 parts, which is pretty cool. Now the interesting thing about these particular kits is the magwell, and I'll show you that in a second. Actually, I'll go ahead and do that now. So as you can see, they cut the magwell. So it's a stub, and there's a guy on ARFCOM, and there may be other people out there. There's a guy on ARFCOM called Braceman who does rewelds for these, which aluminum is hard to weld. Most people say you can't do it. And they might be right most of the time. But apparently he's done rewelds on 601s, which are, I believe, like the first generation M16. I don't want to say prototype, but the first actual M16 version. Don't quote me on that, but that's basically what it is. There's a post on ARFCOM at the top of the retro AR/M16 page that gives you serial numbers and when they were produced and what serial number range. And that's the 601s are like the first 150,000, I believe, something like that. Anyway, this one is interesting, and I say that I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. Someone has scratched this thing to reveal the serial number, and I think this is paint. I don't think it's anodizing. It looks like paint to me. Because of the way it's coming off. And look, you can see the Colt logo is it looks filled in. And you can hardly see the caliber markings as well. They're pretty faint. But the fact that somebody scratched it off and you can see the serial number makes me think maybe if I strip this, it'll be more visible. But anyway, that's the main thing about these kits that makes them really cool, is that they have these stubs for if you just want it, because hey, this is a piece of the gun with the markings that it came with, that my parts came from, or if you want to go the route of getting it rewelded. The other interesting thing about these kits is I was trying to figure out where they were from. I don't know that Bowman specifically ever said, but along those lines, a tag was on my gun, my parts kit. This is what it says. And I was a little bit thrown a little bit off the trail by that last word, Tariq, which translates to date in Romanized Arabic. I was a little confused because the first word I looked up, Dikalaskan, translates to classified in Malay, which is what they speak in like Malaysia, Singapore, and those types of countries. And I was confused because that didn't make sense. Like, what does that even mean? Classified, and then TEB. I don't know what that means. But some other people on Reddit were saying that theirs had Malaysian writing, or is it Singapore? I don't remember exactly what they said, but basically Malaysian was most likely the origin of these kits, given what was on their tags. And I would have to agree, because it turns out, for some reason, Tariq also translates to date in Malay. And that is indeed a date, 2011. I don't know if that's April 3rd or March 4th, because they do the dates weird in some countries that aren't the US of A. But anyway, that's all as far as the information about the kit, its origin, and why it's special. They are battle worn, or well, I don't know if it's battle worn or just worn from use. But anyway, let's just go over the kit itself. You've already seen the stub. I don't think I showed the back part, and I did show the stub part. So that's that. Oh yeah, that was another thing about these kits. They tend to be busted up. So like these handguards, it's not horrible. It's not like a crack where you might And there's a slight one there, but it's not so bad that you might accidentally squeeze it too hard or bump into something and it's gonna crack in half. But someone else on Reddit said that their handguards were basically cracked in half. So just expect varying condition. You might have to replace the handguards. Yeah, the heat shields and everything. And there's this red paint. I don't know who put that on. It's probably something related to storage or whatever. I don't know. Next up, we have the buttstock, which is pretty good. It has a 42 and a big red splotch on it. Now, I'm not sure about the paint. I'm not sure if I want to keep it or if I want to try to remove it. If anybody has any ideas on that, let me know. I know on the original furniture on my Australian L1A1 FAL, it had paint marks on there, and people said to leave that because that's like arsenal marking or something along those lines. So I'm curious what you guys think, if I should keep these numbers or not, because I don't know if anyone really cares about the history of like, oh, this kit came from Malaysia, or if it's more like, oh, I'm building an M16 clone. So I'm not sure. The other thing is butt plate cracked. That was expected from the description that Bowman gave in the kits. You can replace that. Honestly, this is not that bad. I could probably use it as is or glue it or something if I feel so inclined. You know, I haven't looked inside. Yeah, so let me see if that's how that's done. Forgive me if that's... No, that's right. Okay. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, that is an empty butt cavity. It probably... There we go. I don't know if it's supposed to hammer in there, but I didn't want to break it, so... Anyway, yep, sling looks to be fixed. Now, I don't know that much about M16s. All of what I learned basically was in a day or two leading up to deciding to buy it and looking at parts availability and stuff like that, and correctness. So forgive me if I don't know something obvious about these. That it's like, oh yeah, of course M16 sling buttstock sling swivels are fixed, dummy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I am a dummy. Anyway, rounding out the furniture with the hand grip. Doesn't look too bad. It's got the spring in there. It's just a little dirty. That's fine. Now, before we go to the rest of the parts on the gun, let's talk about the magazine. This specific magazine is M10, which I looked up, and it looked like Bowman, or actually Gallo Inc., before they merged with Bowman, which was like a year or more ago, I believe, had these in stock. They said they were from an IDF stockpile, and sure enough, M10 is an Israeli company that makes these magazines. So that also threw me off when I was looking for the origins of this kit. I was like, maybe they're IDF stockpile. But judging by the tag, that told me that no, they most likely just put these magazines in there. I seriously doubt that these mags came with it, like, because weapons stockpiles, I don't know how they work, but I would imagine that they don't store the gun. Maybe they do store the gun with the magazine, but I would feel like they would have that separate. If they have a stockpile of magazines, because there's more magazines than guns, just keep the guns without the magazines and get the magazine when you need it. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. And nothing too special here with the buffer tube, buffer spring. It's a spring. Spring is springy. Yeah, just like that. And let's see, charging handle. There's, as far as I could tell, no markings on this. It's a little bit worn. I don't know what excessive wear looks like on this, so I couldn't tell you there. The birdcage flash hider, nothing special there. Like I said, the tag, and a handful of small parts. Oops. Handful of small parts. I don't know about y'all, but I like to bag my parts, especially the small ones. If I know where they go, like on an AK, I'm pretty familiar. I could take a random pin or spring and tell you where it goes. This one, not so much. But I like to organize them. If I don't know what they are or what they go to, I organize them by type. So like screws go together, pins go together, and springs go together. So that's what I'm doing here. Otherwise, I would do it by assembly. Like, for example, the trigger parts, I have done that. I'll show you those. So this one, I'm assuming, has something to do with the full auto no-no capabilities that we won't be using. And I did not see a mark on there. Next, I believe this is the disconnector. Don't shoot me if that's wrong. No markings on that either, from what I could tell. The hammer actually does have a marking. Hopefully it will show up on camera. Looks like a 2 in a circle and a C for Colt, I'm assuming. Yeah, you see the C on the right and the 2. Yeah, the 2 right there. And it actually looks like the 2 has a C around it. I don't know if that's actually what that is or not. Then the selector. That's another thing, I'm not sure. Sorry, I keep going off on a tangent, but I don't know if I need a new selector because this is for the full auto stuff. Not that it matters as far as like, oh, you can't have that, but with a semi-auto lower and fire control group, I don't know if that will work. Some guns it will, some it won't. It's kind of, I'm having a hard time getting that to focus. There you go. There's a 2 right there. And then the trigger had, I believe there's a C right there, or it might just be a pin. No, I think that's a C. And then there is there's another 2 right there. Right there. Actually, no, sorry. That's a 7. Just like that. Okay, now that all the fire control parts are out of the way, we got the bigger parts. So we got the bolts. Pretty good. And again, I don't know if that's excessive wear. That looks like a lot of wear to me, but that's also constantly feeding rounds. So I don't know, this could have been fired a lot. It kind of looks like maybe that's the case. Like right here too, it's very worn. The lugs, I think are okay. I honestly don't know. I'll have to figure out how to headspace this, and if I need a new bolt or a bolt head or something, then I'll do that. But I would want to do that probably before I headspace it, because I don't know how you headspace these. That's all there's to say about that. And oh yeah, markings. There is a big fat C right there. C for Colt. And I don't think there's anything else on the bolt. Next, we have the front sight block, which is marked with a, it's hard to tell, it's covered in paint or something. It's a C right there, on that ear, underneath. Yep, nothing else too crazy there. I don't believe the other side has that, but, and no, it does not. This, I think that's the op rod. I don't know what you call that. I believe that's pinned in here. So I'll probably take that out. That's one thing I like to do, is find a box that should fit the gun just barely and make it fit. So that maybe is something I do, because that's a long thing right there. It's actually, it's about as long as the lower, so it's not, I wouldn't be gaining too much unless I took the barrel off first. Anyway, here's the upper. It's this thing is rusty. Not horribly, but rusty. Which makes sense if these are from Malaysia. C for Colt and an H for I don't know what. Let's see the other side, not much to really see there. Just finish wear. Let's see if we can look down in there. Not too well. Yeah, okay, well that's pretty much it for the parts. I think what I'm gonna do now is just kind of rough assemble some of them so that they take up less room. So there's that. And am I dumb? Am I doing something wrong? I am. Yeah, so can't you tell that I'm not that familiar with these? And then push that. There we go. That way, I'm already taking up room at this upper, and you can't even tell that the bolt is in there and the charging handle, so might as well take up less space. Same idea with the buffer tube. I'll just shove that in there. It does come back out pretty easily. And then, I don't know if I'll put the spring because that makes this whole thing longer by a little bit, but it's no longer than that. So, at the very least, I might put the buffer in there. We'll see. And that's mainly it. Handguards, the rest I can't do anything about. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll make sure to post updates on actually building it.